What if I told you that America's greatest revolution wasn't really about freedom? What if behind the cries for liberty, independence, and justice, there was a much older story, one built on debt, desperation, and deception? This is not the patriotic version you were taught in school. This is the untold story of America's greatest revolution, the one that didn't begin with gunfire at Lexington or the signing of the Declaration, but with an economic trap set years before the first shot was fired. A revolution that, in truth, was never meant to happen. To understand how it began, we have to go back to the mid-1700s, a time when America wasn't yet America. 13 colonies stretched along the Atlantic coast, each with its own governor, its own way of life, and its own grudges. They were British subjects loyal to a faraway king who most of them would never see. But beneath that loyalty, a quiet resentment was growing. At first, it wasn't about independence. It was about money. You see, Britain had just fought one of the most expensive wars in history, the 7 Years' War, or what Americans called the French and Indian War. It left Britain victorious, but broke. So London turned to its colonies, demanding that they pay the price. The taxes came fast and brutal. The Sugar Act, 1764. The Stamp Act, 1765. The Townshend Acts, 1767. Each law meant one thing: the colonies were to fund Britain's empire. To the British, it was simple economics. To the colonists, it was betrayal. They had fought alongside Britain, and now they were treated like subjects, not citizens. But the real spark wasn't the taxes themselves. It was how they were enforced. British troops patrolled colonial cities. And for the first time, ordinary colonists began to whisper a forbidden question. Is greater than, why should we pay for a crown that doesn't protect us? This wasn't yet a revolution, it was a slow burn of humiliation. And in that anger, new leaders began to rise. By the 1760s, whispers had turned into meetings, and meetings into movements. The most dangerous of them all began in Boston, a group of men calling themselves the Sons of Liberty. Their mission wasn't diplomacy, it was resistance. Men like Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and a young Paul Revere saw taxation not as policy, but as proof that the colonies were under siege. When Britain passed the Stamp Act, they didn't debate. They rioted. They burned effigies of tax collectors, destroyed offices, and forced British officials to resign. And it worked. The Stamp Act was repealed. But Britain didn't back down. It doubled down. New taxes replaced old ones, and in 1770, the tension finally exploded in the snow-covered streets of Boston. A crowd of angry colonists confronted British soldiers. Snowballs turned into rocks. Rocks turned into gunfire. 5 colonists were left dead, the event we now call the Boston Massacre. It shocked the colonies. But here's the twist most people forget. The massacre didn't unite all colonists against Britain. Half of America still wanted peace. Farmers, merchants, loyalists. They believed rebellion would destroy everything. It wasn't yet a revolution. It was still a civil argument, one that would soon turn deadly. Enjoying the story? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2.